hey, as in like Hay, doing like a play on words because of the Airbnb today. For 50 days, Ryan Trahan and his wife Haley are going to all 50 states, and for each state that they go to, I am reading a book that takes place in that state. And today they went to Kentucky, and the Airbnb they went to is so fun looking. They have goats and horses and all kinds of farm stuff all around. I mean, I think in the bedroom there's like a window shield thing that if you pull it apart, then you can see goats in the other room. It's really cool. That's why I started the video with hey, you know what I mean? Yeah. And before I get into today's book, Jammy time. We're like 20 days in and I haven't joined in on Jammy time yet, so I thought this day it would be fun to know what time it is. Join in with the Jammy party. Jammy time. The book for today I do not have a physical copy of, so I cannot show it to you with my hands, but my amazing editors can throw up a picture. Ta-da! It is Midnight in the Lonesome Hollow. It's an American Girl doll mystery, specifically about the American Girl doll Kit. My mom found this book at the library way a while ago. One of the days I talked about the library books that I got, and that was one of them. So I did read this book for this challenge, even though I didn't finish it today. I finished it a few days ago, before we returned it. When she picked it out and said that it takes place in Kentucky, I thought it would be super fun to try out the American Girl doll book, because I don't remember ever reading them. I think my mom actually might have read me a couple when I was really little, but I don't remember. And I know that there was a small play that I did when I was younger than 12 where I got to be Samantha. So I know a little bit about Samantha. Molly sounds familiar. Felicity also sounds familiar, but again, I couldn't tell you much of anything about them. I know when we lived in Indiana and we would go to Chicago sometimes, there was like this American Girl doll store. I loved it. Not so much because of the stories or the characters, but because of the dresses. You guys, the shoes, the costumes that the dolls would have. That's what I loved about the store, seeing all of the different accessories and choices of clothing and all that stuff. Anyway, all that to say is this is basically my first experience with an American Girl doll book, pretty much. I also didn't know that Kit's storyline happens around the Great Depression in America, so that's pretty rough. When I was looking at other American Girl doll books to see if they happen in other states that I didn't have covered, I saw, I think Felicity happens during the Revolutionary War time, so I really want to try out reading some of her books when this challenge is over. Unfortunately, I think all of her books basically happen in Virginia, which I already have covered, so I don't need to read it for this challenge. Molly's books, I think, take place during World War II, and all this talk of me being in the Samantha play, I actually don't remember what year her stories take place. I just remember I enjoyed doing the play. There was a lot of math involved, and one of the other actors forgot their lines, so I had to do some serious improv, and it was a really good time. But the rest of the story is just gone. Okay, but Kit's story. I also found out her name isn't actually technically Kit. Her name is Margaret Mildred Kittredge. And Kittredge that just made me think of Mission Impossible. But Kit's a nice name. I think she made a good choice on going with Kit. What it's about, all this talk, and I haven't even told you what the book is about. Basically, Kit is originally from Ohio, and she is going to Kentucky to visit people. I think her aunt lives there. Aunt Millie was talked about a lot. And she and her Aunt Millie are helping distribute books, like sharing books with different people, because it's the Great Depression, so books aren't like super readily available, or like new people aren't really getting new books and stuff. That part of the story actually reminded me a lot of Free Little Libraries, because like Kit and her aunt would go around and basically like trade out books with people. They were like a mobile little free library, so that was fun. Then mysteries start kind of happening when a folklorist comes and starts wanting to study about basket making in the Kentucky area that they're in, and Kit wants to take it upon herself to figure out who is behind these mysteries. And then you have the story. Gotta be honest, I thought it was really slow. It was kind of hard for me to stay with it. There was a lot of interesting things to learn, but as far as the story as a whole, I just wasn't really grabbed. I wasn't hooked. It kind of reminds me of the same general feelings I had for the Mississippi Cedar Key book. There just wasn't a lot in it that I was like, ooh, like what's gonna happen next? I think the other thing that kind of contributed to that was that the cover itself, it looks really cool, right? Midnight in Lonesome Hollow, ooh. Okay, in my notes, this is a bit of a spoiler, but the whole Midnight in Lonesome Hollow, it being midnight, them being in this like cave looking thing, doesn't happen until the end of chapter 8, which is over halfway through the book. It's like, I read the first chapter, I'm like, okay, second chapter, yeah, we can still do setups, and then by like chapter 4 or 5, I'm like, now wait a minute, I'm like, when does the cover happen? And just kind of waited, and then it happened, and then it was over like so fast. As like the Midnight in Lonesome Hollow part, and then we're kind of back to what the book was doing before, but at least by that point there was more mystery, so I was kind of like, okay, who did it? And the person who did do it, I'll be honest, I kind of forgot that character existed, which maybe was the point. Like, maybe I haven't read a lot of mysteries recently, so maybe that's kind of a good thing. I don't know. I think it was just that the characters weren't really standing out to me. Even though I wasn't wild about it, it wasn't that I didn't like it. It just didn't hook me. I wasn't like flipping pages fast and like, ooh, what's happening next? And even though I wasn't hooked, it did not deter me from wanting to read more American Girl doll books. I want to give Kit another chance. I definitely want to read about Felicity and probably Molly and Samantha, and I think there are other ones. I actually have found some American Girl doll books at thrift stores. I own, I think, 3 now, so I'll probably want to, give those a try. Before we continue, I know I already did jammy time, but there's one more thing I want to add to this video while we're going. Another fun thing about the Airbnb that they went to today was that there was ice cream. So I thought that I would have some ice cream during this video. Comment down below what your favorite ice cream flavor is. I would say my usual go-to favorite would have to be butter pecan. I'm just trying this flavor today though, and it's pretty good. A couple other interesting things I learned about that area in Kentucky, besides the basket weaving that was talked about a lot, was the papaws. I googled it earlier and saw on the map where papaws grow. I grew up in Indiana and I had never heard of them, but when I did live in Indiana, I wasn't really interested in trying things outside of chicken noodle soup, so maybe I did know of it and I was just like, I don't want to try it, and then just out of the memory banks it went. The character said it kind of tasted like bananas, and I thought it was interesting that this is like the second fruit I have learned about in this series. First one being the muscadines that were mentioned in the Arkansas book and the Mississippi book, and now the papaws. That's kind of cool. And then this book also mentions some stuff about ginseng root and how it grows, how valuable it is, and that kind of stuff. So there are some interesting things about that stuff. It is time for the book ranking. In case you don't know, part of Ryan and Haley going to 50 Airbnbs in the 50 states is them also finding the coolest Airbnb in America. I thought that I would tag along with that also, book related, finding the best book in America, at least of the 50 books that I have found that happen in each of the states. I also have 4 subcategories outside of the main just like #1 book. I have adult fiction, adult nonfiction, youth fiction and youth nonfiction. Of course, Kit's book here fits under the youth fiction category, which currently the Imagination Station Trouble on the Orphan Train is #1 in that slot for me. And Imagination Station is what is going to stay. For the overall ranking, because The Buffalo Before Breakfast, I know it wasn't my favorite Magic Treehouse book. I know I would have learned something from it, at least at the time. The Magic Treehouse books were all pretty educational. As a kid, I know that even though Buffalo Before Breakfast wasn't my favorite, I know I still enjoyed it. And I did enjoy Kit's, just not like a lot. So I think I'm going to have Kit's be on the bottom right now. Number 20. And I would like you guys to take part in determining the best book as well. So you guys can go to the link in the description to vote on which of the books I have chosen is your favorite, or which one you think is the best. So there's kind of like a my vote and the community vote. There's both. I would love to know your guys' ranking of it. So that's down there. Reading strategy. All right. This is one of the few videos that Ryan actually told us where they're going tomorrow. West Virginia. If you've been following along my videos, you might remember I did start an audiobook that's set in West Virginia a little while ago. I've on and off paused it, played it, all that stuff. But today, when I saw that they're going to West Virginia next, I started to listen to that more today. I believe earlier I had like an hour and 45 minutes left, and now I think I have 50 minutes left. I am listening to it on 1.5 speed, so that's helpful. Guys, I'm loving this audiobook so much. I'm excited to talk about it tomorrow. But where is Ryan and Haley going to go next? When Ryan was doing the drawing, I was wondering if he was going to go to Maryland, and I was getting really excited. I mean, I like the West Virginia book, but the Maryland book that I have, you guys, I keep waiting for this one book series to show up in this series that I have read, because it takes place in a few of the states, and I just keep waiting. It's like, is it gonna be Virginia? Is it gonna be Maryland? It's probably not gonna be Minnesota, because that's like over there. But we're so close. It's like so soon. We're also right by Pennsylvania. What's interesting about how close they are in the New England area now is that pretty much any of the New England states are up for grabs, because they're so tiny. Ryan could skip like 3 of them and get to a different one. And Pennsylvania is one that is a bit in the danger zone right now. I have read 86 pages out of 276 of the book that I chose for Pennsylvania. I have some reading to do. I did do the math though. If I only read tomorrow and the next day, if that's when they go to Pennsylvania, then I would have to read just under 100 pages a day, and I did that for the Arkansas book and it was no big deal. But I am hoping to read a decent amount more tonight, because really any of those. On the bright side though, Ohio, New Jersey, Delaware, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire, and Maine are all books I haven't finished yet, but I should be able to finish all of those in one day. So things are looking a little dangerous. We had a lot of free days the last week or so, and now things are getting serious. It'll be fine. I should really start on Michigan soon, because that one's a little, that's like not a 300-page book, but it's not a 150-page book either. It's in the middle there. This is a little bit of a spoiler for a future state that is coming, but a while ago in this challenge, I read ahead of schedule the Iowa book, because I wasn't sure if Ryan and Haley were going to Iowa, and that book also was a kid's mystery, and I definitely liked that one more than this Kit one. I thought that mystery was a bit more accurate to the cover, I guess I would say. It felt more action-packed, if that makes sense. But we'll talk about that book more when Iowa shows up. That is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below if you're watching Ryan's series and what your favorite Airbnb is so far. Let me know what you're currently reading. I would love to talk book stuff in the comments down below. Don't forget to vote what your favorite book is so far in this series. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!